family, it's yours truly, Nick Woodard, checking in with you. Another amazing day. Hey, real quick, I want to just share my personal testimony on how my econ, the personal financial success company, has helped change me and my family's life, right? So before my econ, I was living not even paycheck to paycheck. I was living getting paid Friday to being broke on Monday, right? I had credit cards maxed out. I was in debt up to my neck and was clueless about money. So I was introduced to this opportunity by my personal mentor, Mr. Terrence Hill, the founder of the Financial Blueprint Academy, because we believe in giving people a financial peace of mind, right? And he shared this information with me, and based off the first strategy when it comes to cash flow management, I was able to legally adjust my W-4 form as well as my wife's, and we income shifted an extra $700 back into our household each and every month, right? And we took the new cash flow and put it towards our debt. And up to today's date, we have snowballed over $50,000 in debt at the government's expense, right? And on top of that, we have actually cash flowed just over $100,000 by applying these strategies. So I encourage each and every one of you to reach out to anyone you hear who is talking about personal financial success, representing my econ, because we're all about changing lives and we want to welcome you to the financial journey. Have a blessed one. Peace.
All right, guys. So That's what I would like to do. If you've been watching this, like to start out with some testimonials, right? And so that's what we started out in the beginning. And what we want to do is because it's mindset, right? We want to make sure that what we are doing throughout the day is focusing on our mindset, okay? What does that mindset mean? That mindset is, hey, how do I set my mind going forward throughout the day, right? What are my intentions, okay? Do I know that there's something impending coming up? Do I know that there are challenges that are coming up? Probably so. So if there are challenges coming up, then what you want to do is you want to make sure that your mind is set, right? You want to have your face like flint, right? So that there's nothing that could come against you because you've already put inside your mind the things that will fortify your mind to build up that fortitude, okay? And so when you're doing that, then as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. What we want to do is we always want to think about what we're thinking about. That's the hardest thing in the world, okay? Because they say about, the stats say, I think it's like 93% of people that graduate out of high school, that in high school, they don't read another book, right? It's because we always are getting up because we don't want to read or don't like to read, but we're caught up in this rat race, right? We're going through the ups and we're going through the downs of life, okay? And so what we want to do is we want to say, hey, where am I going? And in order to know where you're going, first and foremost, what you got to think about is where are you now? Okay. All right. Because what you're going to do is realize at one point in time, where there's going to be later, or where there's going to be immediately right now, that it's always going to remain seed, time, and harvest. Okay. So if that's the case, then you got to think about your goals, your purpose, right? That is your end process. That is your end goal. That is your harvest. Okay. So that means you got to have a seed. And then you got to have time before you can actually get to the harvest, right? So what we want to do is put together seed, time, and then harvest. But majority of the times we want to go and say harvest, right? And then we want to hustle harder and get to the harvest, right? That doesn't work, okay? Hustling harder really helps you to fail faster. Okay. And see, that's what people think is going to be wrong, but that's what you have to do, right? You have to go through the process of becoming. So when you're going through the harvest, if the harvest was for who you were already, then you would have to become. Right? You could already just be who you are, right? You never have to worry about a thing, right? Because every time you think of something, it just happens. And so people say, hey, Mike, law of attraction, that really doesn't work, right? Of course it does, but you have to think about it as in seed, time, and harvest. And then you also have to recognize the seasons that you're in, okay? Because your seasons could happen really fast. You could go through a summer, fall, winter, and spring, right? But there could be a long winter. Okay, so you got to understand where you are and what you need to be doing within that season. Okay, in every season, you have to do something, right? So one season you have to plant. Okay. And then also the other seasons you have to cultivate, right? Then also another season you have to protect, right? And then you also have to do what? You have to manage it while it grows, right? You have to do all the pick up the weeds, all those types of things. And see, then you have a harvest season. Okay. But you also have a time where the seed is beneath the ground. It is germinating. It is becoming what it is, but nobody can see that right now. Okay, but the seed knows that within it, it is inspired. It is already put within it. God has already given it everything that it needs to grow, to bear. And guess what will it do? When it gets up out of the seed, out of the soil, it's going to bear fruit. And then that fruit is going to do what? Give you more seeds. Okay, that's what you got to think with your mindset. And so when you're going through things, no matter what that end goal is, you have to have a creative mindset. And why do I have to say creative? Creative just simply means that, hey, where it's like water. So whenever I'm going through an example, like if you're going through life and there's a challenging situation at work, okay, or if there's a challenging situation at the house, okay, see, you already know that what's upcoming. And see, what most people do is we replay over and over and over again. Well, they say this, I'm gonna say that. If they say this, I'm gonna say that. I know they're gonna be like this. And see, what you're doing is you're planting those seeds inside of your mind. And then what you do is you say, I knew that was going to happen. What really did you do? Did you know that it was going to happen? Or did you make it happen because of what you were thinking? Okay. Whatsoever man thinking in his heart, then so is he, right? So what we're seeing around us is a simple reflection of what we're thinking inside of us. And so if we don't take the time out and say, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the amount of time that I put into something that puts crap into my mind, whether that's a TV show, whether that's sports, whatever it is that is taking you away from your goal. You see, what we're doing is we're wanting the things that we really don't want. So when we're starting going toward the particular harvest or particular goal, what ends up happening is you get a negative attack, right? So negative attacks happen because of the word that was sown. Okay, because you said that you wanted to do this, this, and this. That meant that you had to turn in a certain direction because you were not already doing it. All right. So that means it's a 180-degree turn. So if you are wanting to create something, you have to turn in order to do that. And that turn produces what? Contrast. That turn produces what? Wind, right? Because you're going in the opposite direction. So when you realize that the negative things, they're not coming at you because you're doing things wrong. They're coming at you to either refine you, right? Because you have to get a particular characteristic. All right. We have to get a particular way of doing things. OK, you have to be kind of exposed to certain things. OK, and so you have to go through that particular way. So if you're wanting to create a great life, health, wellness, wealth, whatever that may be, those things are high. Those things are something that everybody wants to achieve. Right. So what that means is, think about it like this. If you're building a shack, right? And the shack itself, like a shack that you put in the back of the yard, right? And that's where you're going to keep all your crap, right? So if you build on the shack, you just need a little bit of foundation, right? Not much. But if you're building a skyscraper, right, you got to build a foundation that goes really deep. You see, what's going to take the most time right in the beginning is building that foundation. So you got to be like water as you're going through life, understanding that your mindset is set, but you know that you're going through contrast, the wind, the water, because realize it's not what's coming at you. It's not the wind, right? But it's the set of your sail that takes you in a certain direction, right? So what we learn as entrepreneurs, we learn how to set our sail, right? We learn how to think in the right direction because we know certain things are coming. Right? We understand that, hey, if I do X, Y, and Z in this arena, then that's what's going to produce my pay. Right. And then the other mindset is that if I clock in for 10 hours, then I'm going to get 10 hours worth of pay. You see what I'm saying? It's the same process that you're doing, but it's a different mindset. One is saying I'm working for myself, holding myself accountable to put in the same amount of dexterity, the same amount of work ethic that I would when I'm clocking in over here and I was doing 10 hours for them. And every hour they gave me $20. OK, so what we want to do is now let's dive into the book as a man thinketh in his heart. OK, so let me go ahead and get this so we can share here. All right, let me see if I can make this any bigger. Okay, so that should be something that I think everybody should be able to see and take care of easily there. Now, what we're doing, guys, this is the real university. And so every morning, what we want to do is dive in for just a little bit. And we want to go do and set our intentions. We want to make sure that, what we're doing throughout the day, is set, because we're not just waking up and letting life happen to us. We're proactive. We're not reacting to life. We're responding to life because we've already set our goal. We've already set our financial blueprint. We've already set our GPS. Okay, so all we are thinking about is, hey, it may be some traffic that may set up or stop me, or it may be a turn that I have to make or something like that. Okay, but we understand that we've set our goal. And see, the book As a Man Thinketh, it says that let's look at it, right? Let's look at it. As a man thinketh in his heart, okay? As a man, that's just, human beings, right? That's the man, male, female, okay? As a man thinketh, right? What do we think on a consistent basis? What is it that we think about over and over and over again, right? A lot of times people say, oh, Mike, I'm always thinking about money, how to get it. This, what I'm saying? When you're doing that, You know, and you're thinking about how to get money. Understand your thought, no matter what it is, it's a polarity. It always has two different sides, right? So when you're thinking, you're saying, I'm thinking about how to get money, right? That's saying that I don't have enough. I don't have enough. Can you see how you got to balance that? You have to say, I have X amount of dollars already. You see what I'm saying? You have to think about it, a future tense, okay? So as a man thinketh, understand how you're thinking. Thinking is a craft. Thinking is something, a skill that you have to perfect. You know, worrying is not thinking. Okay, repeating a story over and over again is not thinking. Okay, you have to understand that, hey, I am saying that I want this. I'm going to do this accordingly to get that. And I'm only thinking in the future tense of me already having this. Okay, right? So that's how you got to look at it. And so let's think about it. Okay, the aphorism: as a man thinking in his heart, so is he. Not only embraces the whole man's being, but is so comprehensive as to reach out to every condition and circumstance of his life. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts, right? So I believe in the ancient script. I believe in the scriptures of the Bible. It says that as a man thinketh in his heart, then so is he. So what is that heart? Okay, the heart itself, right? You're thinking of mind, will, emotions. Okay, let's think of it like that. The heart is that inner, that is the most convinced part of you, or the part that needs to be convinced. Okay, or some people think about it as the heart being the subconscious mind. Okay, and then you have the conscious mind, which is the conscious mind is judging the things. The conscious mind is saying, okay, this is that is this. The subconscious mind is the motor. This is the thing that's always generating. Okay, and see, with your conscious mind, you have to intentionally say, hey, I am reading these things so that I can embed in my mind, in my subconscious mind, what it is that I really want to think. Okay, so you have to think about it. It's garbage in, garbage out. All right, so let's look about it. Right, as the plant springs from and could not be without the seed, so every act of a man springs from the hidden seeds of thought and could not have appeared without them. Okay, so this is important to understand. Okay, how do things work? Not how do things seem to work, not what they say in the media, not what the government is releasing or whatever, this, that, and the other, but how actually things working, right? Don't be concerned about the outside until you're more concerned about the inside. Okay, now this applies equally to those acts called spontaneous and unpremeditated. So that means that it's saying that, hey, is there anything like a coincidence or something that is happening just by chance, right? No, it's because there are thoughts that were put in motion that made everything go into play. Just because we couldn't see the overarching process of things, that doesn't mean that things are happening by chance or by luck. Okay, so now act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits. Okay, thus does a man garner in the sweet and bitter fruitage of his own husbandry, which just simply means that, hey, whatever it is that you have inside of your mind, your mind is like the soil, or your heart, right? It's like the soil, right? And you have to make sure that it is good. You have to make sure that is able to produce. Okay, and see, when you have the soil. In the soil, you have to, let's say, for instance, when there were the grass is bad, sometimes you want to start all over again, right? They'll set fire to the grass, okay? And then go ahead and mulch it all the way over again, and then put the seeds down. Okay, and see, that's what we have to do on a consistent basis, because there are things that enter in. There's failures, quote unquote failures, that come in. There are things that people say that we allow to come in. There are challenges that are coming in. There are people's words that are coming in. And see, those things that cause your soil to be stony. Okay, it would cause it for your seed that you're planting not to bear any fruit. So people say, hey, but I'm doing this and I'm doing that. See, what you got to do is you got to consistently think about what you're thinking about. because the rain comes on the good and the bad, right? So what you got to understand is, even though the negative happens, your mindset has to be continuous, understanding that you're going to the other side of what's happening, and what happens needs to happen, because all things work together for the good of those, right? So let's look at what we're looking at, and let's think about what we're thinking about. Okay, now let's look at the poem as we wrap this up. Thought in the mind hath made us what we are, by thought we wrought and built. If a man's mind hath evil thoughts, pain comes on him as comes the wheel, the ox behind. If one endure in purity of thought, joy follows him as his own shadow sure. Okay, so it's essentially saying that there is a left and right, there's an up and down, right? There is a polarity in everything. And see, the thing is, there is a equal and the opposite reaction to a reaction, right? And so what we got to understand is that what we are receiving, what we are noticing, is either causing us to be in a constant loop, okay, which means that we're in a consistent way of life, right? The thought that we had, it became a word. That word became a sentence, okay? That sentence became a paragraph, and that paragraph became a story, and that story became our way of life. And so now we think that that story is actually us. Okay, whatever that trauma that happened, right? Now we think that is actually us. They'll say what we do when we get into personal development and personal growth, we understand that we separate, right? The word comes in and separates soul and spirit. Okay, it actually understands, okay, what is going on here. The word comes in, whether that's what you're reading, the inspiration that you're giving yourself, because it's telling you that, hey, I need to get positive thoughts inside, right? And people say, hey, positive thinking, that's just words, this, that, and the other. But at the same time, we read, right? And it was, everything was made by the word, so we even know that, when people say certain things, we understand that, hey, don't say that. We know these things inherently. Okay, but at the same time, we don't choose to operate by what we know. We choose to operate by what we see. You see, that's where the social media, that's where the TV and the news, all those types of things can be hazardous if you don't have the right type of filter. Okay, and that filter, it can be only you understanding who you are and how the words that you produce are positive and they bring back positive results. And then you understand that your eye gate, right, your ear gate, right, you protect those things. Okay, because then whatever comes in through those has to come back out through here. Okay, so that's what we want to make sure that we look at. Okay, and now man is a growth by law and not a creation by artifice. Okay, so it's laws. Okay, so no matter what you're doing, as we're wrapping this up, start from today. Take your journal, right? And notice, just think about it in sports, right? Those people that go the furthest, right? They do what? They're exercising, they're perfecting their skill, they're disciplined, right? They're always out working, right? They're always out doing the things, they're creating the great habits. Right. So what you got to do is, no matter what it is, your end goal that you're trying to get to, you got to create the right habits to get there. Right. You got to say, hey, I am wanting to be the best this that I can be. If it's in the health and wellness arena, then you got to get to yourself somewhere that you have something that you can focus on in the health and wellness arena, a coach, a certain book that you're reading that you're going to stick to, and then not go from this one to that one to this one to that one. Stay right there until you get the results necessary. You see, the thing is, when we read and we're putting this information in, you can't get to a point to where you're being paralysis by analysis, right? To where you're just reading and doing and getting everything in and quote unquote learning. But if you're not taking action, then there is no learning. Okay, you only have knowledge, Knowledge just simply puffs up. It never gives you the wisdom necessary by applying it. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to consistently get the word in, then whatever that you're reading, that Think and Grow Rich, as we're reading now, As a Man Thinketh in His Heart by James Allen. Okay. So it just depends on what that is that you're reading. Okay. So that reading then becomes what you have a belief in. And that belief itself becomes what you have as a character, what you have as a way of life. You see what I'm saying? And see, now you may be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. And now you're saying, hey, I want to really do this because what I learned was not really what I want to become. What they taught me was not really what was right. So now I need to cultivate the seeds of learning. Okay. So now you want to drop those in and protect the things that comes into your ear gates, your eye gate. And then at the same time, you want to also guard what you say with your mouth, because out of the man's mouth, out of the heart, right? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth is going to speak. Okay. So how much are you putting in? Right. And see, what you got to think is this. You've been filled with the experiences, the traumas, or whatever that may be that you're unsatisfied with, right? So that has filled your cup, right? So what you got to do is you can't fill a cup up that's filled, okay? So you have to empty all of these out. What that means is this: you have to stop judging for a moment of time. 30 days, if at 21 days, is what they say, creates another habit. But as long as you can, you have to stop judging the things as you see them, and then get behind a mentor, a certain method, right? That you can learn. Okay. And what that means is that so you can take your mind off of it. You have to get to where, because we are where we are because of how we have thought. So that means you have to end the thinking and put new thoughts in so that you can get to where you want to go. Right. So what we want to do is we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll be jumping right back on. But if you want to look into advanced, we're looking at As a Man Thinketh, right, by James Allen. And then what you can do is just simply Google it, and you can find the PDF and read it, and look at it and join in. And let's go through this new year, right? Let's go through this new year and understanding that we've set a goal and that we're working toward this goal, writing it down and making it plain, right? So guys, I'll see you soon. And I appreciate you for tuning in. As we are wrapping up, if there's any questions that you ever want to drop by, you can also look at www.purposepursuer.com. You can see more about us and what we're doing, because we have a 3-set focus. Our focus is making sure that we have take an hour throughout your day to accomplish what you want to do. Okay. That hour can be split up into 3 pieces of 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes a piece. 20 minutes has to be development, personal development. What is it that you're thinking about? Putting new things in so you can think about what you really need to be thinking about, right? So 20 minutes of reading a good book, right? Or 20 minutes of listening to the audio so you can get the right things inside. And then 20 minutes of your continuing education. That means that what do you want to become, right? What is that end goal? What is that you're trying to do? Be the best that you can be. So 20 minutes, we're focusing on sharpening that axe, becoming the best me I can be. If you need another certification, whatever that is, if you need to do whatever that is to be the best you can be in that area, you got 20 minutes that you're taking advantage of that. Okay. And then the last 20 minutes, you're making sure that you're taking income producing action, whatever that means for your particular area of concern. Okay. So your income producing actions. And if you ever want to know or get a structure on how to do those things, hey, jump on, leave a message, and I'll make sure that we get back to you and show you exactly what you want to do, because most people want you to do what they want you to do, right? They want you to come over, hey, sell this for me, and sell all of these for me, and then you can make some money and then do what you want to do. No, we want to show you, hey, how to use this and get this inspired. And then that's going to create the income for you so that your cash is making cash, right? You have the money, it's already coming in. We want to show you how to do that. But the personal development is a big part of that, okay? So guys, I appreciate it. And as always, Michael Holmes, you can visit us at www.purposepursuer.com, as you can see on the screen there. And I'll end you with this, with a quick video and a testimony about our own Mr. Terrence Hill.
I'm super excited about my econ because of the freedom, the flexibility that it allowed for me and my family to have. Before my econ, I was in the military and we had more month than we had money. After applying the strategies and using the system, we've been able to cash flow up to $700,000. I have retired without having to get a retirement job, and my wife is on the same path to retire within the next 2 years so we could just live our life on purpose and with our kids. That's why I'm excited about my econ.